Oh, that's a nice picture. Oh, is it her birthday? Oh,
Oh,
yep.
cool, it's her birthday.
Oh, we could
Oh,
do this
that's
together.
it.
Oh, look, in the back, it's the little bully right there. Right?
Yeah, little
Yep.
snot-nosed bully. Yeah, that's the
Who's
bully.
that? I've never seen her.
Who, her? Where?
Her.
Oh, behind Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen her either.
There's
And look,
Poe.
unnamed bullies in the back behind Drake. It's like the ones with no eyeballs.
Yeah.
Like,
You,
we
you notice
are.
Joff's nowhere to be found?
Oh,
He
yeah,
doesn't
the
do
no
parties.
job.
He just left. He's like, I'm out. Happy birthday, Janice.
Happy birthday, Janis.
Congratulations, Janice. You're now officially 13 years old.
Yay! Janis is 13 now. I'm 3 years. We'll be the same age.
You'll be 19 by that time.
Ha ha ha.
Everyone is beaming, especially Enna and Candela. The sparks in their eyes could probably be seen from outside.
Wait, what if that's Candela behind Anna?
Her?
Yeah, what if
That's...
that's Candela?
Wait,
No,
that's...
that's Candela.
Yeah.
Darn it, that's Candela. She's right
I
there.
was
Okay,
like,
never
why
mind.
would her hair change from purple to brown?
Sorry. They have the same facial expression
They
almost.
do, yeah.
Closed eye with a smile. But anyway. But yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Mr. and Mrs. Sherwood are smiling, as are the other alienists and nurses. Even the other kids look ecstatic, though that's probably more because they're eyeing the birthday cake and the tray of cupcakes. Only 5 people in the entire room don't seem to be enjoying themselves. Well, even 4 of those 5s are. But they're trying to hide their excitement because their leader is scowling. Drake is probably still bitter over what happened the other day.
Happy birthday, Janice. This is your 5th birthday in Eclipse, isn't it? I hope this madhouse will continue to be a good home for you.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Janice.
Yeah. Commander Poe and Joff are also here to celebrate my birthday. Poe has this really wide grin on his face, and even Joff looks a little kinder than the last time I saw him. I don't see Joff anywhere. Is that supposed to be Joff disguised as a female to blend in?
Maybe he's hiding behind Wolf.
He's like behind the camera. He's like, I don't want my picture taken.
Ho ho! So the party turned out to be little Janice's birthday party. We would have brought presents, rich presents hopefully, if you had told us. Isn't that right, Joff, Wolf?
It's okay, I don't need presents. I don't understand the significance of birthdays. All it means is that the sun has moved from equinox to equinox, and solstice to solstice, and returned to the same exact position 13 times since I was born. What's so special about that? Why is it worth celebrating? So, does everyone want cake?
Me.
I want cake. And it's time for Janice to blow out the candles, but before that, she will make a wish. Go on, Janice. They make me do this every year. I have to wish for something. So I did. I did it last year, I did it the year before, and I did it the year before that. And every year it taught me a very important thing. Wishes don't come true. Wishes don't come true. Have you made your wish? No. Well, what are you waiting for? Nothing. Huh? I don't have a wish. What do you mean? Everyone wishes for something. Not me. There's nothing left for me to wish for. I'll never be able to use magic, and because of that, I'll spend the rest of my life in a madhouse. People will continue to mock me and pick on me until the day I die. That's what's in store for me. What's the point of making a wish that'll never come true?
Janice.
Wishes aren't going to change anything.
Hmm?
All they do is make you more miserable by reminding you that there's something you want that you'll never get.
Anna, since Janice won't make a wish, can I make one for her in her stead?
Huh? No, that's not how it works. It's okay, let her have it. But... Go ahead, Candela.
Hee hee hee. Thank you, Janis. Here we go.
She exhales, preparing to make her newly acquired wish. Then, with a huge smile on her face, Candela exclaims,
I wish everyone here will be friends forever. Ha ha ha.
My, that's a wonderful wish. Did everyone hear that? We should all try to be friends with each other. That means no more bullying. Please be nice to Janis. Understand? Yes, Miss Polly.
Yes, Miss Polidori.
I didn't hear everyone's voice. Do you understand? Drake, be a good friend to everyone, okay? Drake doesn't answer. He turns his sullen face away. Drake? Oh, he's probably sad because Via left. Suddenly he explodes.
Why are you saying that to me?
Because you're the instigator, that's all.
It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault.
Drake springs up, causing his chair to topple, and rushes out of the house. Drake? Anna runs after Drake, followed by Mr. and Mrs. Sherwood, Commander Poe, and Joff. Out of curiosity, and since I really don't want to be at this party anyway, I follow them. Drake is nowhere to be seen. Instead, we see 100-foot-long wooden plank that's barely wide enough for a person to walk on. It stands on one end, the other leaning against the invisible wall above the gate, creating a slope. Did he, run up the wooden plank to escape? On closer inspection, we realize it's not made of wood, but rock. Yep.
Can Drake use earth magic? Yes, he can. I see! Very clever! He must have summoned this rock! He didn't escape, did he? I understand he summoned this to help him get over the barrier, but it's too steep to climb. Even if he did, the barrier is much taller than this thing. Not if you lower the gravity.
Drake's feet hurt. Climbing the makeshift ladder was easy, and so was the jump at the end. It was the fall that he hadn't accounted for. Of course, there wouldn't be anything on the other side of the barrier to land on, and he hadn't ever thought about how far from the ground he would be. In normal gravity, nobody would have been able to survive a fall from that height. Still, summoning that ladder was ingenious. Without it, he wouldn't have been able to lower gravity enough to facilitate a jump over such a tall barrier. Now what? Drake Perrault stared at the alien world around him. Instead of walls, the horizon was filled with buildings of all sizes and shapes. Above those, carriages and omnibuses flew from place to place. Drake finally realized that they weren't just randomly flying over the madhouse, and instead had actual destinations. The street where he stood, when was the last time he had seen a street, sprawled endlessly before him. But this fascination didn't last long. He was suddenly aware of the size of the world outside of the madhouse. Drake Perrault had never felt so tiny. He heard footsteps coming from behind him. He wanted to turn around and see who it was, but he decided against it. Instead, he stared at his own feet. He felt a person, who, approaching. Closer, closer, ever so closer. He clenched his fists. Is he going to get kidnapped? The person was closing in on him, and then ended up right next to him. Drake instinctively looked away, but the footsteps began to fade slowly, gradually, until they eventually disappeared. When he no longer heard anything, he looked at the street again. He was alone. He exhaled. When had he started holding his breath, and took a tentative step forward? He found himself in a busier part of the city. A dozen people were lining up in front of what seemed like the edge of a platform. Drake guessed that they were waiting for one of those omnibuses. More people stood and walked on the streets, some talking to each other. He noticed a woman staring at him. When their eyes met, the woman made a face, but since he averted his gaze right away, he didn't know what kind. He passed by a street vendor. Drake didn't stop to see what he was selling. who either said or asked something of him, but he didn't hear what it was. Instead, Drake quickened his pace. Why was he here? What was he doing in the city? What did he hope to accomplish by running away from the madhouse? It was her fault. It was that stupid girl's fault. She shouldn't have been able to do that. She wasn't able to use magic, right? Then, what did she do? How in the world did she manage to throw him to the ground so easily? He hadn't been injured, but the fall had hurt enough that he had to get Miss Polidori to cast heal on him. When she asked what happened, the boys blurted out that Drake had been knocked out by a girl and laughed mockingly. Oh, his pride's hurt. That's why he laughed.
Oh.
Since then, he always felt that people looked at him differently. The other kids no longer looked at him with respect. He might have even heard giggles as he passed a group of girls. And it was all because of a stupid trick. It had robbed him of his dominance, reduced him for being a leader to nothing more than a pitiful mess of a boy who had been knocked out by the girl who couldn't use magic. Just remembering it made him grit his teeth. I like travel forever. He snapped out of his thoughts. The scenery had changed. Somewhere along the way, the building had become more cruel, the streets had narrowed, and the brick pavement had turned into dirt. Not only were the people scruffier, there were also more of them. Drake could feel every single pair of eyes on him. When he turned his head to avoid them, he just met more eyes. He tried to run away, but couldn't escape the gaze of these strangers. There were so many of them, too many. Their chatter made Drake uncomfortable. Trying to ignore it only made their voices grow louder, drowning out his own thoughts. It was as if he was being bombarded by their voices. They were talking about him. He was sure of it. This was not where he belonged. They must be talking about the boy who didn't belong in the streets. Drake kept walking. He wanted to go away, far, far away, anywhere, somewhere, where he could be by himself, with just his thoughts. Here, among all these people, he felt alone. Do you want to be this guy? Oh, you have to be him if he talks, but I'll be this guy. Hey, kid. The rough voice came from the man standing right in front of him. Drake didn't know where to look. There were people all around him, so he just stared at his feet again. The man continued, Kid, where are you going? Nowhere. Drake just wanted to go away. What are you doing in this place? Nothing. Drake just wanted to be left alone. You lost? What do you mean by lost? In a way, he was lost. He didn't know where he was. On the other hand, he didn't have a destination in mind, so how could he be lost? Say something, kid. Say what? Drake had nothing to say. He felt himself shaking. He was still staring at his feet. Maybe he should say something. Maybe he should say he was lost. Maybe he should say he just wanted to be left alone. Just say something, anything. He lifted his head, opened his mouth, and looked at the man's face. And then Drake Perrault turned around and took off in a full sprint. I thought he was actually going to say something.
I thought so too.
Hey, where are you going? The man shouted. Drake kept running. He heard at least half a dozen sets of footfalls matching his own from behind, but he refused to turn around.